Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another video. Here's the morning, just approaching midday now. And I've come out to my favourite chub peg on the Avon to have a go. I've got about 4 hours spare, so I just thought I'd come and have a go here. It's very local to home. Grabbed a few bits and pieces, chucked the waders on, and here we are. So yeah, we're gonna have a crack, see if we can catch some of the chub that tend to live under that tree over there. Very, very simple today. Maggots, that's it. Just got maggots. Got the bait weight out here, as you can see. Just been firing a few maggots in, which are going to trot some maggots through with the waggler setup, which I'll break out now and run you through. So what we've got is my Dower pellet waggler 13-foot rod, Dower Matchman pellet waggler rod. Absolutely wonderful rod. I've got barbel on this, plenty of big chub. As the name would suggest, pellet waggler rod, so it's got plenty of backbone. It's lovely soft tip as well. Caught silvers on it. It's a lovely rod. It's like 40 quid. It's crazy. So yes, we're going with that today. Absolutely perfect for this sort of thing. Dower 125M, as supplied by Stuart at Artisan Angling. He rebuilds these. He can rebuild yours for you. You can buy a rebuilt one. You can buy a new one off him. He is having all the parts made these days. Lovely reel, perfect for trotting. On the business end, I've got a Dave Harrell 2 SSG number 3 Specie Waggler. Nice and fat, nice thick tip. Number 3 is the thickest one. Number 1 is the thinnest one. This is the smallest of the thick ones, nice and shallow, as I think we'll hopefully be getting the chub up in the water to intercept these maggots. Right, we'll get this set up, keep the maggots going in, then we'll have a crack. Well, there's certainly some fish coming up for these maggots. I think they're all fairly small though, by the looks of it. Not got a contingency plan today. So if we're struggling with little fish on maggots, we're doomed, to be honest. No, it's very calm, as you can probably see from the trees. There's hardly a breath of wind, which is absolutely fantastic for doing this. This is another reason that's prompted me to come out and do this today. Plus, it's been raining a bit in the night. We've had a bit of rain this morning. The Avon's up a tiny, tiny bit. Tiny, tiny bit, just a fraction, but it's a bit of fresh water going in, so might have perked things up a bit. So what we're going to do is just keep firing maggots in, perhaps half a dozen, 10 at a time, across there, get them to run past, you see these fish jumping out, run past that tree, and hopefully that'll get us some chub. Hopefully it'll get the chub moving and coming up for these maggots. I've got, I don't know, about 3 or 4 pints with me, something like that. Should be plenty. Hopefully we can have a few fish. I'm sure you can see all these little fish. I mean, perhaps I should have bought a contingency. Looks like the bleak are going crazy. I assume it's bleak. So what I'm going to do is just fish maybe 2.5, 3 foot deep. Well, I would anticipate these fish, the chub, are going to come up to the surface or relatively high up in the water. We'll set the gear to that effect. Single maggot. Right. Hopefully we're not going to get mullered by tiny little fish. So we'll crack, shall we? Looks like we are. Certainly getting a lot of bites there. It's getting dragged back, that maggot. See the advantage of having a Specie Waggler on, big heavy dumpy waggler on. If that float goes under, it's most probably a decent fish. As opposed to that. was a proper bite. That was a proper bite. I'm sure if there are some chub about, they'll bully these little fish out of the way. There's usually some chub about in here. There's certainly a lot of small fish about, which is not a good sign. There was plenty of chub about. I don't think we'd be getting all these funny little bites. Yeah, it's hung itself, look. It's slightly bigger. Well, it's going the right way. It is another chub. Things are moving in the right direction. Now what I've done, I've stuck a little magnet on the side of my bait waiter, just with some araldite, because I found if I bait up here and drop it in, catch like a little minnow or something down here. So hang it up there out the way so no one can get at it. No fish can get at it. We're about 15 or 20 minutes in. Not a lot going on. With the bigger fish anyway. Far too much going on with the smaller fish. Just changing over to a size 20. Just scale down a bit, see if that helps. It's a size 20 MWGB hook. So it's not a small 20 by any means. Piranhas, these small fish. I've never had it like this in here before. I don't think it's a good sign. I don't think they'd be like this if there was big chub cruising about. Should mention conditions. I mean, the river is crystal clear. I mean, I can see the bottom out here. It's probably 6 foot deep. And that's without, you know, the sun being out and shining on it. You can see all the bottom, all the weed down here. It's not great conditions. The Avon doesn't fish well when it's like this generally. Although this swim is often the exception. I wonder if they're tucked up under there and get some maggots off the bottom of that tree. Oh dear. Right, well, something's grabbed our double maggot over there. And now a decent pike's just got hold of it. I actually got my pike gear out this morning. Although it's still a bit early for me to be pike fishing. I was thinking perch and zander. This looked a decent fish from what I saw of it. I don't imagine we'll get it in, but we might. Only got a little pan landing net though. God blimey. Well, this wasn't what I was expecting to be fighting. He looks a decent one. Oh, he's let go. There we go. I thought he might. Well, Mr. Perch, lucky escape. Well, stop splashing. Okay, eating. Cool. Now that's worth coming out for. Look at that. We're not catching any chub, but how's about that? Cracking days. Absolutely fantastic. Right handful. There's some big swirls going on over there. I think we might have got these chub out, you know. unless it's pike chasing the little fish. There's certainly some big swirls over there. Yeah, and again, I wonder. There's some proper swirling going on over there now. There's certainly a lot of swirling going on, more than, those little splashes there. And much more subtle swirls like that there. But big swirls. There we go. I knew there was some swirling going on. I said, didn't I? There's some big swirls going on there now. God, it's took us an hour. I think we've got them moving. They've had to come up and compete with the little fish. I knew it was bigger swirls than those little fish we've been seeing. Here we are. Finally, we got one. God, I really had to work at this. I mean, he's no monster, and he got me in all the streamer weed. Look. Actually, that's a cracking fish. Yeah, he's a nice fish. Look at this, he's got me in. We've really had to work for this one, and he's very lively. We'll try and have a quick look at him. Is he going to behave? It's about that. Cracking. Lovely Avon chub. Absolutely wonderful. Right, hopefully that means they're out and about. Who knows? We can but try. Well, quite an eventful morning with pike strikes, being bitten off by pike, and then finally we've had a target species. We've caught loads and loads of fish. I mean, I certainly can't complain about that. We've had stacks of fish. Like I say, hopefully that means we can have a few more. Ooh, the wind picked up a bit. It's really not very warm today, I have to say, compared to how it has been up to now. It's a proper chilly day today. It seems to have calmed down a bit over there. As I spoke to, oh, there's a huge boil there. Look, did you see that? Don't know if that came out on the camera. Huge boil. That's clearly a chub. Oh, and again by the tree. Big old swirl. There we go. Oh, no. Ooh, can't get an inch. It's right on the edge of those reeds. That's it, we turn him. And we've got to keep him at the streamer weed on the bottom. I don't think it's a huge one. But it's another one. Oh, he's not a bad one. Blimey, I had to work at this today. God, it's not really on a sort of tangle. Oh, it's come off. Line at the landing net, and it was gone. Oh, which is bad enough in itself, but maybe straight back over there and spooking them. Oh no. Oh, we've just got it going. Oh no. Oh. We've just got it going. Mind you. I think we might be alright. Right, we change this hook link. Oh, that's frustrating. At least I saw him. It wasn't a huge fish at all. 2.5 pound. But I'd rather have caught him than not. Yeah, I found that. It's just the hook link or something just touches something. Just the hook pulls. I have it quite a lot down the Y when I'm wading. Chub try and get around your feet and around your legs, and if they do, around the tripod or something, generally just manages to bump the hook out. Oh, the surface is bouncing. I don't mean that with those little splashes. I mean, it's proper boiling. There's proper numbers of chub out there now. Looks like losing that one hasn't affected things. Well, they're still ignoring the one with the hook in it, as they do. There we go. Well, it took a few minutes, but we're in again. They've been swirling like absolute crazy. There've been bow waves coming out from under that tree. This one, unfortunately, is just right over where the bait has been. I can't get him out of the way. Shifted him now. Come on. He's a monster. I've kind of given up. Another cracking fish though. Another beauty. Been very cute today. Another cracker. Get hold of him. There he goes, about that. Absolutely wonderful. Beautiful fish. Absolutely full of maggots, as you'd expect. All that swirling. Well, I nearly didn't bring the other box of maggots with me. I just thought, oh, you know, a couple of pints will do. Or a pint and a half. Cool. Glad I did today. Blimey. It took us a pint and a half to get them feeding. Oh, blimey. It's not very warm. Right, I think I'm going to feed for a few minutes. Get these other maggots as well, because we're running out. I'm sure you can see. Feed for a few minutes. Put my hoodie on, because it's a bit chilly. Oh, yeah. Certainly seem to be more over that far side by the tree, as you'd expect. Alright, that's better. These are all bronze ones, but I can't imagine it make much difference, to be honest. The place is boiling. They do seem very conscious of this float. I mean, I'm not sure I could get away with a smaller one, really. Whatever I use is still going to make a plop as it goes in. They do seem very conscious of it, very aware that it sort of means danger. There we go. It's wonderful. Oh, no. Hit and hold stuff in here, as you can imagine. Reed beds everywhere, trees, weed on the bottom. That's what's trying to do me in the reeds down here, which he managed to. Come on. Oh, it's not a nice fish. Blimey. Come on. Come on. Oh, I think he might be the biggest one of the day so far. Oh, he is. That's a tank. Got him. Bronze maggot in the corner of the mouth. He's a lovely fish. He's a lovely fish. Wow. God, that's a proper tank. Wow. How's about him? Absolutely wonderful. What a lump. Well, this is awesome. It's took a good hour to get them going. This is fantastic now. Absolutely fantastic. All right, we've had another one, so are we going to still get some swirling? Just a bit. I'll try feeding a few less maggots, I think. Perhaps just put half a dozen in at a time. I'm almost tempted to start putting sort of one in at a time or two, replicating the hook bait. We've been feeding around the float. Which is tricky. That's not even worked. I think it's just a case of doing what we're doing until one of them makes a mistake again. It's just, you feel like you could be doing more purely because you can see them swirling at all the freebies. There we go. Caught right by the tree. Oh, cool. Oh, this feels a really good fish. Keep his nose up off the bottom as well, otherwise he's going to be in the reeds, which he is. Yeah, he's got us in the bottom. All right. Hopefully, bit of pressure from downstream, get him moving. A bit of an angle on him. Got him. Just got him moving. Sorry you couldn't see me. A lot of streamer weed in the bottom of here. They bury their heads in that. The only way to get them out seems to be go downstream, pull from downstream. He looks a nice fish. He felt a good fish. He's trying to get around every bit of weed. Oh, he's got around this one here now. I wonder if we can get him in. He's an absolute tank. Cool, we got him. That's a really nice fish. Wow. Look at the size of that. That is £5 and some all day long. Well, we'll have a look at him. The one that got us in the bottom and in the... Look at the size of that. That's absolute tank. I'm not sure I've got my scales, to be honest. It'd be nice to weigh him. He certainly looks a good 5 to me. I don't think he'll be a float PB, which is 5.14, but he certainly looks a good one. I was going to say that's put an end to the swirling, but it's just started again. I've never really had them in here, as I say, just swirling on the top like this. I've always caught them a few feet under the water, which I think almost feels a little bit easier, to be honest. Because they're at a point now, I mean, wow, it's just crazy. They're at a point now where they're taking them, you know, literally an inch or so under the surface. They're coming, hitting the big load of maggots that have gone in, and if almost ignoring everything else. Float's gone under. I'd imagine it's a perch down there, but you never know. Feels like it. Oh, he's a nice one, actually. Not bad perch at all. God, we caught some fish today. That clonking dace earlier, stacks of perch. Nothing huge, but I certainly don't mind catching perch. We seem to be hanging further down the swim. So I've just been feeding them for 5 minutes. They are going absolutely nuts on the top here. I mean, absolutely nuts. I don't know if it's come across on the camera. Really, really, just all over here. Going absolutely crazy. If I can't get a bite, no, we're never going to get a bite. There you go, that's gone straight through. Completely unhindered. This is infuriating. Absolutely infuriating. Really wish I had some meat with me. I think if we could cover this hook, I think we'd be laughing. Look at it. Oh my goodness. Absolute carnage. Put a bait in. Nope. I just know something's wrong with that one. They know it. What surprises me, joking aside, is that they are competing and I still can't get a bite. Look at it. It's nuts. And I still cannot get a bite. They still know which one has got the hook in. Oh, I so wish I had some meat with me, or even some bread. Ah. Oh. Well, that was a bite then. Oh dear. Look at it. can't buy a bite. This is just ridiculous. Oh, makes you want to go home and just put all your gear on eBay. They so know what's going on. I think that's probably enough torture for me. We'll have one more cast. I'm going to call it a day there. Oh dear, they're just having my pants down here. It's like carnage. It is literally like feeding time at a trout farm. And I can't get a bite. Well, I can, lots of bites on very small fish. Right, one more cast. Torture ourselves one more time. And then we'll go home. It is like feeding time at the zoo, and I can't get a bite. Oh. We've got another one on. Yay. He's not massive. Ooh, ooh. Oh, I was hoping we could get another one before we went. They've been absolutely having my pants down for the last hour. Well, for about 2 hours, to be honest. But we've actually managed to hook another one. Hopefully we can get him in. He didn't feel very big at first, but he's sort of grown. He's not a monster, I don't think, but I'd certainly like to land him. We finish on a fish. We finally, oh God, look at that. He's got out. Oh dear. Pay attention to what you're doing. As I was saying, we finally fooled another one. Well, as I say, he's no monster, but he's certainly very welcome. And that certainly fooled him. He spat the hook in the net. Right, as I say, it's time to go. I think I'll call it a day there. Well, that has been quite an eye-opener. It is absolutely going crazy, and the longer I leave it, the more crazy it goes when I fire some maggots in. Well, I don't know if that's coming across on a camera, but it is like a trout farm. It's just crazy. And I've struggled to get a bite, can you believe it? Can you believe it? Right, I'll get this packed up and we'll have a quick look at those fish before we put them back. Don't mess these fish about, but I do fancy putting that one on the scales. I have got my scales with me. I didn't think I had, but I have. So we'll get the other ones back and we'll put the big one on the scales. Well, just had him on the scales. He is a scraper 5. Scraper. He's about £5.5 an ounce. That's a cracking fish. Absolutely cracking fish. We'll get him back. He's very lively. You won't mess him about. But yeah, wonderful fish. Check that out. Absolute tag. Go on, off you go. Well, that's been a real eye-opener. To have that many fish going that crazy over the bait and to struggle to get a bite. As I say, I don't know what I could have done differently. I mean, I've got very limited kit here. Like I think I mentioned, you know, I could probably got a pole out there and just dangled a maggot on the surface, but would the pole have put them off? Could have put a smaller float on, but I don't think that would have made any difference. Could have scaled down, of course, as well, but it's not worth it in here. It's not worth it. So yeah, really don't know what I could have done differently. I would have loved to have some bread or to have had some meat with me. Perhaps once we got them going on maggots, we could have started firing lumps of meat in. Of course you can hide the hook then, different story. Plus it's one bit of bait going in rather than several. I even tried cutting down to 2 or 3 maggots at a time. Even that didn't work, I don't know. But shouldn't be disappointed, we had some cracking fish. We had 5 decent fish, caught loads of fish as well. We had 5 decent chub, like I say, perch, we had that lovely dace, had pike attack, all sorts of everything, didn't we? It's been just about 4 hours fishing, so yeah, absolutely wonderful, cracking. Yes, but I shall go home and scratch my head about that and think about perhaps what I could have done differently. So it is 2 days later and we are back. I couldn't let it rest. I couldn't let it rest. Couldn't get out yesterday. Today we've got a lovely overcast day. We got a bit of a breeze which wasn't forecast, but I just wanted to come and have a go for these chub again. But what I wanted to do was bring an alternative bait because we struggled last time. I've literally fired 2 or 3 pouchfuls of maggots in it and the small fish are going crazy over there again. So I thought I'd run these 2 videos concurrently, or make one video out of the 2 sessions, purely because obviously we're doing the same thing in the same place. But this time I have bought what I hope is a secret weapon. Bit of a last minute thing, still a bit frozen, but meat. My plan is get them going on maggots like we did before, like we did 2 days ago. We struggled for bites, clearly. Well, we had a few fish. We had 5 fish, lost 1. Loads of bits and pieces. But after reviewing the drone footage, there was like a dozen chub out there. Well, as you've seen. So, we're gonna have a go with meat, I think. I have got some bread as well with me, but I've left that in the car. I didn't want to confuse things too much. So I thought we'd go with meat. Obviously, chub love meat. So that's plan B. We'll see what happens on maggots this time. Now, I was chatting to one of the chaps that's a lot to do with the matches and stuff in the club, a chap called Aid, Higher Aid, he watches the videos. And he was telling me there was a match on here last Sunday and the guy struggled on here. He had the fish going crazy on maggots and was struggling to get any bites, which is exactly what I found the other day, which is why I just fancy having to go with a different bait. Right, it's probably enough waffle, isn't it? You know what we're using, exactly the same gear as last time. Let's get cracking, shall we? This wind is going to be an absolute pain. I thought it was coming from that way, but it's not. It's coming from that way. Downstream wind is going to be a nightmare, to be honest. But it's not, as I say, it's not really supposed to be windy, so perhaps it'll blow over. The wind will blow over. But small fish are already going crazy over here. And that's what we found earlier in the video, wasn't it? 2 days ago for me, earlier in the video for you. It was got a little fish going crazy first off, like this, and then the chub started to play ball. They're already going, I mean, look at it, it's boiling. None of these maggots are getting anywhere near any of the chub at the moment. There we go. Well, it took a while. I don't think it's massive. It's not beasting me. But finally, we've had one on a bit of meat. He's certainly not massive. But it's worked. Right. I'm not putting him back. Risk of upsetting them all. I'll get him in the keep net. Noticeably, the small fish have stopped crashing on the surface for these maggots. He says, and then one does. It was going absolutely crazy before. I think perhaps some of them are getting down. As I say, I'm sure that is why the other day we had chub coming up to the surface. It was just because they had to get any maggots. Again, that was a proper bite. all of a sudden with meat on, getting a few bites. Proper bites, I should say. There we go, look. It's a better fish. No. Come on, out the bottom. Keep out that stream of weed in the bottom. Well, if only I'd had lunch and meat the other day. Been fishing meat 10 minutes at the most. I've had a little chub and this one. Missed 2 bites as well. This is a proper fish. Oh, if only. He did manage to get me in a stream weed. How's about that? That belly. Wonderful. Well, meat looks like it's doing the trick. We'll keep maggots going in. Just keep them interested. Keep the little fish interested. But yeah, this quite telling, this change to meat. Bang, straight away. There we go. Well, this is really working, this meat. The float just stopped. Go down in the flow and it stopped. It's been like 5 minutes since we had that last fish, and I've spent about 3 minutes of that on the phone with work. They're not up on the surface at all. That one is now. But yeah, they're not swirling on the top like they were the other day, but this meat is certainly fooling them. I'm sure it's because I'm covering the hook. I can cover the hook. They can't see the hook. There's another nice fish. Blimey. God, it looks like another nice fish as well. Come on. Oh, it's another cracker. Absolute cracker. Well, he's a good £4 all day long. Oh, handsome. Handsome. I can't pick him up with one hand. Look at the size of that. Absolutely wonderful. Again, he's absolutely troughed that. Then not making any mistakes of taking that, and not any hesitation of taking it, I should say. Well, it's certainly making it worthwhile standing here in this drizzle. Couple of absolutely clonking fish, and first time been successful with meat as well on the Avon trotting. Not that I use it very often. I did use it here once. We had one fish very early on, and then I was sniff after that. So the fact that we've had 2 in about 10 minutes shows me that they're there. I just love meat, the way it just sinks really slowly. It's terrible bait for baiting up with if you want to get it on the bottom, unless you sort of bait drop it or something. But for trotting, it's wonderful because it sinks really slowly. I kind of had more than 3 or 4 runs through since that previous fish before we had that one. Great stamp as well. Cool, look at this. How autumny is that? Brown and yellow leaves floating down the river. Been at it about 2 hours. We'll have another hour at it, I should think, at least another hour. I just wanted to prove a point, and I feel I kind of have already. There's no swirling up there. What I'm doing is, I started doing anyway, is putting 2 bits of meat in at the same time. The idea being that that'll replicate the plop of the meat and the float, just to get them used to it. Certainly to stop them being scared of it anyway. There we go. There we go. Oh, no, no, no. Oh my God. Get out, get out, get out. Oh, he nearly made it. He nearly made it. Oh, I cannot give him an inch. Not an inch. Now he's trying to get in the bottom. God, blimey. Oh, we've cracked this, haven't we? We've cracked this. Come on. Another absolutely cracking fish. Again, got me on a string weed, as you can see. It's another absolute beauty. It's going crazy. I'm convinced it's been able to hide the hook. That is the key to it. That's the key. Even though it's only had a size 20 on, but it don't matter. They can see it. And you bury it inside a lump of meat and they can't. Well, I think for me that proves it. If we'd had meat the other day, we'd absolutely slayed it in here. Oh God, my catapult's gone again. It's not breaking, it just keeps slipping off. It's like a peg. The elastic sits on a peg. It just keeps slipping off. Come on. I've been fishing with maggots this morning for an hour and a half. And I had bits and pieces, nothing else. I've gone over to meat about 10 or 15 minutes after I started feeding it. We've got 3 chub in probably half an hour. It's telling. Especially as I can't present as well today. Because of this wind, I'm to keep, there we go. Oh, I'm having to keep mending the line. I'm sure it's moving the bait. There's another bite then. Let's feed for a minute. There we go. Right down there, look. A long way down the swim. Makes me wonder if he'd been following it down. Ooh. God, blimey. That was another decent fish. Come on, up off the bottom. Oh, a scrap. Oh, he looks a cracker. God, blimey. Look at the size of the mouth on that. Oh, it's a tank, another absolute tank. Well, this is certainly working. God, look at the size of that. Absolute unit. Absolute fantastic. Such a different day though. Getting these bites down here. Nowhere near where we were getting them before. You know, they were up on the surface over there. The little ones clearly are still. Certainly no big swirls. Just looks like the chub are not interested in coming up and competing for these maggots. But then again, perhaps they don't feel they need to because I'm feeding them luncheon meat. Oh! How have I missed that bite? He took my own head off. No idea how I missed that. It was a proper bite as well. Give it the big one, because I thought we were going to connect, and it was right by those, well, these things over there, bulrushes, I think they are. Right in the middle of the river. I thought I'd try putting one through shorter, because some meat had been going through a bit shorter. We hooked up. Just shows you that all over under that tree. He's not a beast. He's certainly one I'd rather catch than not. Sure I'm going to get another bite now. This wind has really picked up. You can probably see from the chop, it's just dragging the float through so fast. Just the wind on the float, let alone the line. I can't present very well at all. Let's just drop for a second. Come on, let's have a nice run through. So we're fighting the flow anyway, because the current between me and the float is faster than where the float is, so I'm having to keep mending the line anyway, like so, but I can just about do it when there's no wind without disturbing the float too much. Nah, we'll call it a day there. That's been absolutely fantastic. I've thoroughly enjoyed that. It's been very, very interesting to come down here and do that. It's been, yeah, a bit of an education as well, I would say. Every day's a school day, but yeah, it's been educational. And we've caught some cracking fish. Absolutely wonderful. Right, we'll get tidied up a bit. We'll have a quick look at them as we put them back. Cracking the stamp of fish today. The ones we've caught, I mean, see them there, so I'm not going to mess them back too much. What we had, 1, 2, 3, 4 really good ones. So we'll have a quick look at them as we get them back. It'd be nice to get a photo of these really, but I don't want to mess them about. I'm not going to drag them up the bank. But we had some, and look at the size of that. So lively, and that one. Another cracker. God, they're so lively now. They've been rested up. It's another absolute cracker. Go on, back you go. And another one. Beautiful fish. A couple of smaller ones. Go on, off you go. Fantastic. Yeah, that's been very, very interesting. I'm really pleased I came back and did that. You know, I could have gone off somewhere, done something else, and had a completely different session. But I did, as I said, I did have a bit of an itch I wanted to scratch, and I've done it now. We, you know, very, very similar to start with than the session the other day, with all the small fish boiling on the top, but the chub didn't seem to be getting up there. And after about an hour and a quarter, I thought, yeah, let's see if we can do anything feeding meat. And I fed meat for about 10 or 15 minutes, along with baguettes. Put a bit of meat on, first time put a bit of meat on. Within a few minutes, I had a fish, and I haven't looked back really. It's not been prolific, but I mean, the stamp of fish we've had as well, you certainly can't complain about that. Absolutely wonderful. Anyway, I'm waffling. Now, I'm out again on the Y next week. Well, I'm going to try and get out, I think, between now and then. I'm going to try and get out, do a little bit, perhaps on the Avon somewhere, perhaps after some perch. I think that might be the next thing on the agenda. Well, that noisy helicopter's gone over. Yeah, I think perch. I'm going to have some perch before too long down the Avon. We'll have to suss out the weather, exactly what the weather's doing. It's supposed to be a bit brighter, I think, next few days, so perhaps dusk might be a good idea. Perhaps get out with some big lobworms or perhaps some small live baits or something. But as I mentioned, you know, if we use live baits on here, it's so full of pipe, we're going to have to use wire, and you know, it's not ideal really for perch, but we can have a go anyway. We can have a go, see what happens. There's some cracking perch around, certainly. That's for next time. For now, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Tight lines, enjoy your own angling. Many thanks to the channel patrons for your wonderful support, and I'll see you again very soon.